This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, hi, Pinky Jackson. It's good to see you again.
Hey, Kim, I'm so happy that we're having this conversation.
Yeah, so I am so excited because, after finding out what you were doing and then me finding out, that we probably had some interests together, it's like, oh, let's just talk to each other about what we've got going on. Love to support female entrepreneurs, and so glad to be in your company today.
Hey, well, thank you. I feel the same way. I'm so excited for you, and I'm really excited for the students and the families that you're helping. It's such an important service that you're providing. So I can't wait to hear to learn about it.
Yeah, so it's called Real Life GPA. And actually, the way my partner and I got started with it was just by talking to 17 to 24-year-olds. We talked to over 100 of them and said, what is it that you need to be building your independence? And what they said to us was, it's a trusted resource. They said, our parents are usually the people that we go to every time when we're looking for something. And honestly, they don't want to do that because they want to show that they want to show their parents that they are, becoming independent and that they do know what to do. But really what they have to have is that trusted resource, someone that's other than their parents.
Sure. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So what does
Yeah.
it look like when you start working with them or develop their plan? What does that look like?
So our survey, what we did was work to understand what type of guidance they were looking for. So like, where do you need the help, right? And basically they said, hey, it's when we encounter things that we haven't run into before. Like, what do I do if I get in a car accident? Or, and things that they can plan for, like, how am I going to live on a budget that has limited income, but I still want to eat healthy, right? So those types of questions. What we found was basically we could bucket what they were looking for in 5 areas: money, relationships, life skills, student skills, health and safety, right?
Yeah.
And so then we said, well, what are your top 15 questions in each one of those areas? And what we're first going to go out with when we launch Real Life GPA on May 18th is the top 3 questions that they asked for in each of those 5 areas. And very timely questions. One was, how do I register to vote? Right? Tell me about that. Understanding taxes, right? When do I pay taxes? Do I even have to? So those type of questions, right? And what we've done is we put together some pretty engaging materials for them to be able to access online from the moment that they subscribe or they get a gift subscription. But then each week for 15 weeks, which corresponds to like the length of a college semester, they will get a push notification from us. So proactively, they're going to get something where they can proactively learn, what do I do when I get in a car accident, so that they can, prepare. But then in that moment, when they need that just-in-time learning, oh my gosh, somebody, I just had a car accident, they're able to access it that way too. And what that is they can read it in a PDF, right? They can read what they can listen to a video or listen to a podcast, or they can watch it in a video. And we did it that way because people have different learning styles, different ways they like to learn. So we're giving them, those different options. And then there are tools, things that they can download, like, so my example of what to do in a car accident, there's a list of things that they should have in their car, right? And have so that if they have the accident and they've got those materials ready. So, it allows them again to plan, but then also just in time get what they need. What we're really trying to do is make it more like conversational and just no judgment, right? I mean, this is not a lecture. It's just what it is, right? What do you do, right? And we've found that the real disconnect in terms of a trusted source was they said, well, when we go to the internet and look up something, what comes up is not necessarily the right answer. It's all driven by advertising. And so, really what they're having to do is to sift through a lot of things to find what is the trusted resource. So that's what we're doing. We're taking that job on so that when they come, their time is well spent. It's not searching and looking for something that may or may not really be what their, the answer to their question.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's so important. I think you hit the nail on the head with our young adults and almost adults, how they really do respect that people who are older, who have had more experience, can give them good guidance. But it is sometimes easier to hear that prophet from another country.
Oh yeah.
It's sometimes easier to hear that from somebody else's mom, or a professional. And wow, so you're expanding the circle of support for them and making it really clear that you're in their corner. But then you've got some really thoughtful tools that are meeting all their different, like you said, their learning styles. That's huge. That's huge because that's so much of what everybody, especially students, because students, I think, sometimes think that they have to be good at everything, right? They think they have to be good at math and good at English and good at making friends and good on the sports field and good at juggling all this, time management. And that's so unrealistic. I mean, I think about all the people that help me. I have a VA, I have someone who helps me with social media, I have an accountant, I have someone, not right now, but someone who comes and helps me clean. I don't do it all myself. And I think kids these days, there's so much more expected out of our young adults.
Oh
And
yeah.
good for you.
Well, thank you. I totally agree. I think, having worked in Fortune 100 companies, and there are times when we would bring in consultants, right, to deliver messages, because sometimes you just need that third party, right? Someone who isn't seen as, maybe they've got a trusted, or they've got some sort of, you know, uh, ulterior motive, right? Maybe as to why that they're saying they want you to do something. As a mom myself, I've been accused sometimes of having that ulterior motive, and I'll own up to that, right? Uh, and eventually too, really, we want to expand so that we're bringing in people with a lot of other knowledge as well. People who have served in the military, people who have been lifelong, coaches, right? Either in sports or in other aspects of life. So we really want to bring together a group of trusted resources, so that it's not just Kim and Jean, but others as well. Like you
Sure.
said, to expand that circle.
Well, I can give you a fantastic coach whose business is called Aspire, ASPIE-R. He works with young adults on the autism spectrum, on the Asperger's end of that.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal, and I'm completely subjective about it because he's also my nephew. So it's completely subjective, but I have seen the magic he does. So yeah, there's so many really wonderful people that I've bumped into, because as you know, I organize homes, and a lot of that is organizing and helping students organize their stuff in the home and their stuff for school. And so I've had to kind of build a circle of people that I can refer my clients to when they need something outside of what we do. So that's another reason I'm really excited that you're doing this and you're launching this month.
Yes, May 18th. We're very excited. So tell me about, let's start by hearing like the work that you do with maybe students, so people kind of in the age range that I also work with.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Well, I actually started organizing I probably started when I was like in 6th grade, when my sister was my math teacher and my job was to organize all of her school supplies and help her with papers. But I started getting paid in pizza when I was in college. So coming from such a big family, I knew how to do laundry and knew how to cook. And I grew up with 10 kids in my family. So we all had to know how to take care of all those things. And I didn't know until I went off to college that there were students who didn't have those life skills, who, for whatever reason, wanted to pay me to organize their dorm room, to help them, get things really pretty in their dorm room, to help them figure out how to do laundry and when they could fit it in, and where you're supposed to go on campus to find something. So I didn't, I thought, sure, I can absolutely help you with that, just because I wanted to be help, and sometimes I get pizza. So that's a real warm place in my heart, because it's kind of where I started. But also, as you know, I've got 3 kids, and watching those kids and my nieces and nephews and my great nieces and my great nephews, and seeing all of the different needs that they have. I will tell you right now, a big part of what we're doing, a lot of people in your age range of, the kids, the young people that you're working with are living at home unexpectedly. And it used to be that spring break, summer break, holiday break, I would work with families because the mom would call me and say they moved their entire apartment home for the summer and I don't have a living room anymore, help. And so that was very common for just the transitional time, helping kids who'd moved out of their dorm or their college apartment kind of reintegrate into the family home and get it organized, and also put some systems in place so that the whole family could function again, since things have changed a lot. When you go off to college and you have all this freedom and then you come back into your family home, you need someone sometimes to be, like you said, that prophet from another country, another person saying, hey, curfew needs to be maybe a little different, and you don't get to wait until next month to do your laundry. And, and yes, you're old enough to have beer now, but you're not old enough to leave 12 cans in my den, that kind of thing. So just kind of helping them organize the items, the time management, and the kind of the systems, productivity, as well as the mutual respect systems. So that used to be the main thing, but right now, a lot of the phone calls that I'm getting and a lot of the virtual consulting that I'm doing, we do on-site when it's, right now we're not doing much on-site because we have to be super, super careful, but we do on-site here in the Louisville area. I also travel to go other places, and then I do virtual, like a conversation like this, where I say, okay, show me this and do this and do this. So a lot of those calls are the mom or the young adult walking around saying, here's this and here's that, and what about this, and just kind of being another person who's completely objective. Like you were saying, in corporate America, you bring in a high-paying consultant. I don't charge nearly as much as a Fortune 500 consultant, but you bring in someone who doesn't have the baggage, the triggers, the loyalties, any of that. I just clearly come in with zero judgment, like you said, no judgment about it. My only goal is to help them meet their goals. Mm-hmm. And being able to do that in a really loving and compassionate way, but also in a very direct way. I think that's important. I want to be kind and compassionate at all times, but I don't really pull punches. I kind of have to be very clear and say, hey, you may be the one who called me about the clutter, but what I'm seeing is a lot of your belongings in every room. Why don't we start there? Or whatever it needs to be. But because I've been doing this a long time, and because I've raised my kids and they're launched, I have a lot of diverse type of training and experience, I can bring that in a way that feels really good and respectful to all of them. And so I think that sometimes is particularly helpful with the 17 to 24-year-old, because they're hearing me address them as an adult, and their parents are hearing me address them as an adult. And I'm talking about housemates, not moms and little kids anymore. I'm talking about whatever your housemate situation is. And it's a very different, once you're of a certain age, we're not the pilot anymore. Maybe we're the navigator, and sometimes we're the flight attendant, but we're not the pilot anymore. And so we need to change we need to organize our relationships in a little bit, and not step into that kind of power play and resentment that we can sometimes do. So, and so I'm kind of doing with their physical environment, bringing in our team and my expertise and action plans and DIY plans and whatever it is they need to do with their stuff, very similar to what you're doing, with all of the things they have to do with their productivity and their education, and like you said, car wrecks and scheduling and all of that. That's big. So I think there's a lot of things that cross, and I'm so happy you're doing that. It's such a big need.
Well, I can attest to your service is a big need as well. As I mentioned, so we do multi-generational living in my house. So I have my husband and I, and my mother, and then my oldest son, Zachary. And then we've brought my other son back, into the fold. We convinced him to come in during COVID. And so when you're talking, I could so relate to that, different roles, right? And also trying just to be understanding during this kind of time, right? Where you are back into the household but for a short period of time. And you're living out of a suitcase, in some ways, right? And so that's been difficult. And also, it's difficult too if, let's say, my mother might have a different definition of clean in the kitchen than I do, or my sons do, right? And so what we've tried to say is like, well, there's right and there's also right. But what we have to do is get to what is our right together.
There you go. Excellent. I love that. Our right together. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Very collaborative, very healthy.
It helps though to have someone else help facilitate that and help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I love that. So that's a big thing that you and I have in common, is being able to consult with families and see things. I think, it's a combination of having just the life experiences and the training that we've had, but also just being another set of eyeballs. And our vision is really clear. I'm sure there's a term that you use for it, but what I use for some of my clients is clutter blind. Sometimes I go into a home and they don't see it, or sometimes it's also solution blind, and I love that because I'm really good at coming up with those. But sometimes we have to find a way to show them their clutter. And I do lots of different things to kind of show them that. And I'm sure that's the same thing with life skills, because I can think of the mental and emotional clutter that stops us all, not just young people, all of us, from executing our skills, from executing our goals by using those life skills, because we have all this mental emotional clutter in the way. And I bet you're really good at helping them get past those obstacles.
So so the GPA, right, really stands for goals, plans, action, right? So the goal is to learn what to do when you get in a car accident. The plan is, to have those items that we know you're going to need: the car registration, your insurance, card, and contact information. Have those things ready, and then the action is, one, have that stuff in your car ready for you, right? But then the action at the time when you need that, then to be able to say, oh, I already know that, I need to call the police. I need to check to see if everyone is okay. I need to get the name of the officer and the number for the police, report, so that I can get that later. And it's really just to provide context around things for people. It's very easy to have situations that just sort of happen to you, and then when they're over with, you realize, oh, wait a minute, I didn't do X, I didn't do Y, and if I had that opportunity to do it over again, I would do these things. So being able to have the goal, the plan, and the action, then that gives you confidence that you're gonna get what you need, right? You're gonna do what you need to do, and you've got to take care of it in. And the most important thing, besides giving confidence and helping that person build their independence, I think that what we know is that when you have confidence, it reduces your stress, right? So if if this can help that student who's already got a lot going on, right? If that can reduce their stress so that they can sleep better, so that they can get to that class on time or get to their job on time, right? And because they feel confident that they know what they're going to do, that's a big gift.
Yes. Amen. Amen. I think we have such a similar mission. Mine is decreasing clutter and stress in order to increase peace and productivity.
Yeah.
And that's what I just heard you say. So yeah. I'm a big fan of your business already, and I haven't even used it yet. My kids are all...
I think that we've decided that we can probably trade out some services here, because I need a little bit of help in my family situation.
Well, I'm your girl.
Okay.
Happy to do that. You just go to my website and you book one of my consultations. My consultations are complimentary. So
Awesome.
I take a look at people's situation. I'll spend 30 minutes to an hour taking a look at their situation and giving them, assessing what I think that they need so that they can really look at it and go, oh yeah, I'd like to do this or whatever, however they want to approach it. Some people want me on site doing it. Some people want to do it this way. Some people want me to create a DIY plan. There's all sorts of options. But at first, I think, like you said, being empowered with the information and knowing, so you just book one of those for you. How do people reach you? Like when I, am in a home or when I'm working with a family that I know could use your services, what's the best way for me to tell them to contact you?
Yeah, so the easiest thing to do is to go to
Uh-huh.
our website, which
Okay.
is www.reallifegpa.com. So
Okay.
RealLifeGPA.com. And once
Okay.
you go on there, you'll see where you can sign up actually for a free ebook where you can learn more about that survey that we did with young adults and find out exactly what it was they're asking for, which is how we built Real Life GPA. It was based on what they said they needed. So sign up for that ebook, and then you can also look to see when Real Life goes on sale, which is going to be May 18th. And we think it's a great gift for high school seniors or college students who are graduating. Great birthday gift.
That's so wonderful. And such a, like you said, bringing so much stress out of their lives, especially the ones who, gosh, weren't, I mean, your timing is so good. All the kids that weren't on campus with their guidance counselors for the last couple of months and don't know when their school is going to open in the fall, like their people are going to need a bigger support system right
Yeah, we
now.
think, obviously, the timing, we didn't plan this around a pandemic, right? But we do we do think that, trusted resources are, like you said, even more important right now. And
Yes.
that's one of the things that we're doing is, when we're thinking about the information, we're saying, okay, well, we get that maybe you used to could do this way, right? But now things have to be a little bit different.
That's right.
Um, and so, we try to give the context for both. Just because somebody may be used to doing something one way and they don't understand why, that maybe it's different now. So we want to be able to give that context that, this could just be a short-term thing that we're doing it this way. But they can always come back to us as a trusted resource to know when, that changes.
Oh,
So
I
how
love
do
that.
how do I sign up for your services?
Oh, it's super easy. My website is just my name, pinkyjackson.com. And I put everything there. Um, there's buttons where you can schedule to learn more about what we do. Examples of my pricing is all on there. Um, a lot of after pictures. I don't do before pictures, so there aren't any of those, and that's quite intentional.
Mhm.
Uh, Quite intentional. First of all, 30 years ago, when I started doing this, we didn't all have these little phones that were a camera, so we weren't carrying around cameras. But at least for now, I'm just not that interested in giving the before a lot of bandwidth. I think it's important, it's helpful, it is very informative for me when I'm creating this strategic plan to organize the home. But I don't want the homeowner or the client to focus on it. I want them to focus on what they do want, and let's move forward with what they do want. But there are a lot of pictures of, the team and working and different things that we do, a lot of blogs with information. So there's just a whole lot of information there, like yours, where we try to get, help people just be empowered by information. And then there's just buttons to push to schedule a consultation, because I think, people want either a phone call or an on-site or virtual. Let's just tell me what's stressing you out. Some people know exactly what to ask for. They say, I need help organizing my pantry. And some people call and they say, I'm just stressed out. I don't even know what to help to ask for. And both of those answers are perfect. They're both perfect. I will ask you enough questions and do enough observation that I can figure that out for you. So they just go to pinkyjackson.com and my calendar's on there. They can schedule directly with me. I try to make it as simple as possible. So it's all there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds great.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed catching up with you today and learning more about, your business and how I can utilize it in my life. I'm going to schedule some time because
Good.
refrigerators, we really need to talk refrigerators at our house. I clean it and organize it like once a week, and it doesn't stay that way. So I'm not working, whatever I'm doing, it's not working for the household as a whole. And so I think we need somebody to just step in and just start right there with us.
Oh yeah, we can do that. That's for sure. Yay. Well, thank you so much for connecting. I'm so glad you reached out to tell me about this great new venture. I'm so glad you're doing it. It's so needed. And I'm glad we connected, and I'll be happy to come and see what I can do to help you with your refrigerator and any other things.
Sounds great.
And you tell Noah I'm really glad he's healthy at home.
Yes, as well. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.